Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Mikey Reacts. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today we are carrying on with the series of 5 things I love about the United States or the USA. I did a video recently, you can check that out. That is part 1. This is going to be part 2 and we're going to continue this series because I have a list of about 100 things that I should really talk about. So before we get to that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. You guys are absolutely amazing. Your support is really overwhelming. And check out the links in the description to my Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. You can support me through Patreon by subscribing. I'm not asking for donations. If you subscribe, you get 2 to 3 videos per week centered around politics and American history. I'm sure you guys will love it since you mostly are on the same wavelength as me. So let's get to this list. So this is going to be a list of 5 things, and this is part 2, so this would be 5 through 10 or 6 through 10, shall I say. So the first thing that I've got to say I love about the United States, and no other country really does, and if they do, it's nowhere near as good, is college sports. You guys have an incredibly large culture when it comes to college sports, and it is really different from the rest of the world. If you look at the UK, for example, we are huge on sports, but nowhere near as big as the US is. We obviously have our national sports that we play. We play rugby, football, and cricket. When I say football, I mean soccer. And there are, of course, other things in there, like universities do now play some American football, and there are American football teams dotted out throughout the United Kingdom. But it's mostly rugby, soccer, and cricket. And cricket is not really that big. It's a bit bigger with the older generations, but that is really like our version of America of baseball. But we do not really have professional programs within universities and schools that compete with each other on a national level and is televised and paid. So when you have, realistically speaking, like D1 football players, people that play in the Power 5, or even any real university in the D1 program, D1 division, they are basically professional athletes. Yes, they are student athletes because they are studying at the same time and they're getting a full ride to college, which is absolutely amazing. I think that's a really great thing to do. But they're also professional athletes in that they're trained properly, their nutrition is looked after, and some of the stadiums, well, actually the biggest stadiums in the United States for football are college football stadiums, and they are bigger than the NFL stadiums. And I believe there's almost like more rivalry between colleges, you know, universities over their football team. And I know the same is true for baseball and also for I don't know if you guys do like college soccer. I'm assuming yes, but maybe probably nowhere near on that level, but I'm assuming the same is also true for baseball. Again, nothing really is as big as football in the US because it is an incredible sport, let's be honest. I do like baseball though, to be fair. But yes, your college sports out of this world. I've been to one Crimson Tide game and I really do love the atmosphere. I love the size of the stadium and the people in it, and the football. Again, it's indistinguishable in its true ability or impressiveness over like the NFL, for example. The stadiums are even bigger, the crowd is absolutely amazing. So you even have Air Force flyovers, you know. So I love the culture of college football, college sports in the US. I've never been to like a college baseball game. I think I would like to. If there are any, let me know down in the comments. Is there college baseball? Is it big? And should I go to one, to a game that is? But yeah, honestly, out of this world. I don't think any other country does it. And if they do, nowhere near as good as the United States. So that is the first thing that I love about the US. Number 2 is trucks. Now, I myself would say that I really identify with like the Southern culture. But that is not to say that trucks are unique to the South. I know, like, for example, Texas, that there are probably more trucks in Texas than any other state. I don't know if that's true. That's not a fact, so don't quote me on it. That's just, I think, anecdotal. But in the rest of the world, and especially in the UK, where I'm more familiar with, of course, trucks aren't really a big thing. You will see, when I say trucks, I mean pickup trucks. You'll see trucks being used by like workmen or people who work in trades. But apart from that, people or general people won't really buy a truck. And not only that, we can't get the same kind of trucks that you can in the United States. We can't get like an F-150 or F-250 or really any of the Ford range. What we have is the Ford Ranger, right? So the Ford Ranger is basically a European size pickup truck. It's narrower to fit European roads. It's shorter, again, to fit European car parking spaces and roads as well. And there's no such thing. You're not really gonna find a V8 or a V6 engine in one of these trucks. I had a Ford Ranger for a really short period of time. I really didn't like it because of how small it was in the UK, and it was a 4-cylinder, like 2-litre engine. So again, nothing to write home about. Really not what you're looking for when you're looking for a truck. You want big, powerful, large, and that's what you get in the United States, and I absolutely love that. That's one of the reasons why I actually can't wait to move over, and I will be moving over this October, is to get myself a nice F-150. But the problem is with that, is obviously you have now all this backlash over Ford doing the whole Pride Month thing, so I don't really know where I stand on that one. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's politics, and that is not really important on this video, because we're talking about things that are great about the United States, not things that are going on in the United States. And then of course the truck culture, you know, like tailgating and stuff like that, absolutely love it. So that is number 2. Number 3 is, this is more of a concept than an actual thing, but I would say the love of freedom, or the perception of what freedom really is. The rest of the world, I don't think, really understands what freedom is. When you look at Europe, and Europe is quite left-leaning when you compare it to the United States in terms of its policies. Freedom means something different. I think freedom, they look at it as in security, and the US is very different. It's never really been a security-based country. It is more, you survive on your own merits, and you are free to choose to do whatever it is that you wish to do, as long as it doesn't hurt other individuals, which is pretty much the law in every country. The difference is with the United States, I believe the United States really is a make or break country. One of the reasons why I'm moving is because in the United States, if you really want opportunity, less regulation on corporations, and to really build a business or really be successful, the United States is the best place for you. And one of the reasons why I chose Florida is because there's no state income tax. Aside from the fact that I love the culture, I love the warmth, I love the fact that it's in the South. But no state income tax is a big thing for me, whereas in the and VAT is pretty low. Not compared to the rest of the United States, but when you compare it to the UK, for example, we pay 20% tax on every single product we buy. Our income tax is at a minimum 20%. So there's really no benefit being in the UK over the US. The only difference will be is obviously free healthcare, which is absolutely appalling in the UK at the moment, but that's neither here nor there. So the love of freedom, to be able to do whatever it is that you want, and the reverence that we speak about, that you guys speak about your forefathers, and the fight for freedom and the gaining of independence, is really an amazing thing. The pride in the flag that you guys show at football games, or really anywhere, flags hanging outside, that notion of freedom and sacrifice, and the love of being in the United States, that is number 3 for me, and that is an amazing thing. And on to number 4, we are gonna go with music, but more specifically, country music. So I am a huge lover of country music. I started this journey on YouTube when I sort of discovered one country song after the other, and it's kind of spiraled now into an obsession where the only music I have on my phone now is country. So there are so many things I love about country music. I love the fact that it really references the past in a good way, like, you know, your ancestors and the people who raised you, and there's that really close sort of feeling of like, country music is about family, it's about real life, it's about sad things that happen and also great things that happen. It's about the feeling of being from the South and living in a certain way, living a certain lifestyle. And also, of course, there are so many different parts of country music as well, where country music also is very, very patriotic, in that it talks about the troops and the respect for the troops, and really has a focus on the freedom-loving people of the United States. And lastly, on that topic, country music, I find, tells an amazing story. Each and every, I mean, of course, there are different genres, not genres, but almost like sub-genres of country. So you have like the patriotic stuff, then you have the stuff like Willie Nelson, who tells a lot of stories in his music. George Strait tells great stories, and he has really meaningful songs. And there are many other country musicians that tell. Kenny Rogers is a great one. Kenny Rogers basically tells an entire book in a 3 or 4 minute song, and that is something that I absolutely love, is the storytelling ability of country music, and how it can speak to you on more level than just musical excellence. It can really hit your emotions. Really unlike a lot of the modern music that's coming out of places like California now or New York, where it's about, you know, you have raps about gang violence, and which has been prevalent for quite a while now, but, or you have, you know, music that revolves around sex. You have that WAP song, whatever it was, and you know, like all these artists. I can't remember their names, like Nicki Minaj and what's the other one's name, the one that raps. Anyway, you know exactly what I mean, and it's in total contrast to that kind of music. It is good, meaningful music, and that's what I love about the United States and country music. And that was number 4. Moving on now to number 5. It's a 3-parter number 5. So I've written down, and I truly mean this, the strength of the military, the pride in the military, and the respect shown for the military. And I think it is one of the most impressive things about the United States. Obviously, if I don't need to tell you how strong the US military is. It is the strongest and most powerful military in the world, not because necessarily of its size, but also because of its people and the values that they hold, and also the fact that it is the most technologically advanced. So leave that to one side, and that, you know, that is self-evident, really, especially when you look at what's happening with what the other technically most powerful country in the world, being Russia at the moment, and their inability to really use their military effectively. The United States really is in contrast to that, where we know that we have, or the United States knows, that it has quick reaction forces that can really do anything, anywhere in the world at any time, and really defend the United States if it ever needed to, both overseas and domestically. And then you go on to the pride and the respect shown to the military. So people from the United States military are very, very prideful, but that is true of every country, really. But the biggest thing for me is the respect shown to the US military with parades, and it's a really common thing to say to a veteran, thank you for your service, and that's not very common in other countries. Even in the United Kingdom, there is not that much focus placed on veterans and the military, nowhere near as much as there is in the US. You guys produce music about it, you fly flags like the MIA, like POW MIA flag. There are so many different ways and days to remember those who served and those who fell during their service in the United States. And you know, with veterans, this military discount and veterans discount everywhere, and that is really, really impressive. And that does show that you guys, not necessarily the government, but the individual society, looks after its veterans and has great pride in their veterans. And that is not something that is huge to see in the United Kingdom. There is really no music about it, really. There's not many news stories about it. There's not many parades about it. And that is kind of sad, but really, really refreshing to see from the United States. And one of the reasons why I can't wait to be part of that society, part of that culture, to hold my American passport in my hand one day and call myself an American, because I believe people who serve in the military in any capacity should really be respected and shown that respect. So those are the 5 things that I believe are amazing about the United States, and that I personally love about the United States. So that is now 10 in total, 5 from the last video and 5 in this video. You guys, I'm going to be posting so many more videos on this topic. I've got a list, probably about 3 pages, of individual specific things. Some things very niche about the United States that I absolutely love. Some things are specific to states, for example. Like I said in my last video, I'm a huge fan of the Second Amendment. That's one of the reasons why I love the United States. That's not necessarily state specific, but I can't really say the same thing about New York or California, where states, or Chicago, Chicago's not a state, but Illinois, where their gun laws are so strict that actually really circumvents the Second Amendment to a certain extent, you know, or the purpose of it, right? So yeah, that's a whole different topic, though. I could really do a whole half-an-hour video on the Second Amendment and the violations of it at the moment, but that's neither here nor there. I'm really enjoying doing this series because it's really good for me to talk about the reasons why I love the United States, and it really affirms my decision to move to the US, and it's something that I'm really, really excited for. I should be over there permanently from October onwards. I am visiting in July for 2 weeks to get some paperwork sorted and to meet some people in the state of Florida. So if you guys are around at the time, feel free to hit me up and we'll go for a drink. It has been absolutely great, guys. This video has been absolutely great. Thank you for your support, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. Check out my Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon in the description. And if you really want to support the channel financially, subscribe to my Patreon or give us a super thanks. Any amount is perfectly fine. I don't mean to ask. It's just a suggestion. It's like, even 10 cents is absolutely amazing, because you guys and your support is fantastic. So thank you very much, and I will see you.